You're watching BBC News. Here, written prescription fees from vets will be capped and practices will be forced to be more transparent about how much pet procedures will cost according to longer-awaited changes announced this morning. The competition watchdog says some pet owners should start seeing improvements by Christmas. Well, with me is our reporter, Jim Connolly. And Jim, you've been following this issue for several years now.
Yeah, feels like deja vu coming back talking about it today. It feels like a big report.
Yes, so tell us about the findings.
Yeah, well, I think start off, just look at the comments of the CMA. They're quite punchy, they're quite direct. They say that too often people are just left in the dark about who owns their practices, the treatment options that are available, and key, the prices. And in recent years, we've seen prices go up a lot for consumers. Average vet prices rose by 63% from 2016 to 2023. That is well above the rate of inflation. Critics will say, look, that happened because there was this big corporate takeover of the industry. 6 big companies buying up more than 2/3 of practices. I think those big companies would have a very different version of events. They say, look, it's not about that. This is about advances in technology, advances in medicine, greater consumer demand, all driving up costs, along with all the other pressures that businesses are facing at the minute, increased wages, fuel bills, the works, and that is the reason that prices have gone up. But what's undeniable is prices are high, and that's why the CMA have chosen to act, and they brought in a collection of measures that really focus around transparency. They talk about transparency when it comes to prescription price lists, price comparison websites, a fee cap on prescriptions at £21, encouraging people to go online to buy their prescriptions. So a range of measures. The questions are, I suppose, will any of it work?
Exactly. What do you think?
It's really interesting. I've been chatting to quite a few vets in the run-up to this and people at the British Veterinary Association trying to get their steer as to what they think, because we knew quite a lot of these measures already. They were pretty heavily trailed. And I think there is a sense that people will see a difference when they go through their vet practice, say, in the run-up to Christmas. It will change. People will see differences. They will see a greater openness on who owns the practice, for example, or the prices that are going to be charged, or a fixed cost when you go in there so you know how much that treatment is going to cost you. But when it comes to will your bill go down, which is probably what a lot of people are thinking today when they look across the room and look at their dog, well, I'm thinking, if you hear the words of the British Veterinary Association, I think that's pretty unlikely that we're going to see massive drops in prices. Their argument is vets are expensive places to run, and delivering high quality care is really expensive, and that isn't going to change. They point, and every vet I've ever spoken to points to one thing, and there's a distorting factor that we have within Britain. We have the NHS, which is free at the point of use, so we don't know really how much our care costs. If we go to the doctors, we don't know how much that treatment's costing us. We get a real shock when we go and get some medical care for our pets, because that's when the true cost of medicine really is kind of revealed to us. And I think that's why people are so shocked at the prices. But the sense that suddenly it's just going to get massively cheaper, I think maybe is not quite true.
Yeah. And Jim, as I said, you've been following this for some years now. Just tell us about the impact of these high prices on pet owners.
It's massive. I think that what's really interesting about this story is, on one level, it's a business story. It's about business regulation of this multi-billion-pound industry. But actually, it's a story about human emotion. We've brought these animals into our lives now, and they're more and more part of our families. And I think that you hear stories of people just getting to the vets. So there's a guy on 5 Live just a minute ago over on BBC 5 Live, and he was just talking about, he went to his vets and he was given 2 options. One, amputate the dog's leg, or spend 4 times as much reconstructing that leg. And that is such a difficult position to put in the pet owner's mind. They love this animal and it's there, and they're making decisions about the kind of welfare of this animal that they care for and love. But on the other hand, there's a massive bill coming. So it's a really kind of like difficult story for people. And I think that's why there's such a lot of focus on this report today. And there will be a lot of focus going forward into Christmas time to see if any of this has actually made any impact on prices.
Briefly, what are you looking at next when it comes to this story?
Well, we've been looking at people travelling abroad with their pets to see if that's cheaper, and we're focusing soon on insurance, because whenever we cover this story we get inundated with hundreds and hundreds of people dropping us messages at BBC Your Voice. There is a constant stream of people getting in touch, and insurance comes up quite a lot, so we're going to be speaking to people about that and looking to see what is out there for people and what advice maybe there is for people when it comes to protecting themselves against these rising costs.